just not good enough. I've never been good enough. That is the current battle that I've come to realize, and I know that deep down, it's been built into me since a very young age, and it was maybe even hard to recognize. It was hard to recognize. And I know that this is not something that's unique to me. There are several other people that have this, whether they really understand it or not. So, new levels, new devils. And I've got an awful lot of receipts over the last 4.5 years, turning my life around, getting into the gym, getting fit, driving my SUV 1,300 miles from home, starting a successful marketing agency, living out of the back of it on a beach, while quitting drinking, getting off antidepressants, and there's so much more. But no matter what I do, no matter the results, there's still this deep seed somewhere in me that has always told me I'm not good enough, and I never will be unless I achieve a result, unless I get this certain thing. But I know for a fact that is wrong. My first business that failed, that I spent 9 years building, that really, by having that business blow up, it put me on this amazing, challenging, uncomfortable, painful, beautiful path that has written an amazing story out of this life. And I would have had no idea. It was like, even when it was good, it just sucked. But looking back on it, it's been amazing. But man, I am deep in this one. And just like everything else, I know for a fact I will succeed. I will get past this. And this is something else I will be able to guide others with once I get to a certain point. But right now, man, I'm deep in this one, and I feel it every once in a while that I get past it and something completely different happens. My vibration changes. Things just start happening in such a good way. But it's not something that I have really been able to manage or understand fully or control yet. And I think it's so valuable along the way that, I show you where the challenges, where the shortcomings are, where the battles are that I'm making progress, and not just trying to be the man who has arrived, who can sit here and point his finger at you and tell you what you need to do and how you need to be. I had some very valuable men in my life that they had arrived, that gave content, that, created content that really did help me shift my mindset, make a bunch of changes, be conscious of what steps I needed to take. But I didn't have anybody like me who had elevated in many ways, who was to the point where he could really lead and guide on many of the things that I needed, but was still in the battle and progressing and bringing, would have been bringing me along the way. And I know that while I've got all these other things that we can work together on, that you could begin deploying or at least understanding today, the things that I don't have it on lock yet, I'm still figuring out, you need to come along on that journey, because this is something that we'll all have to look back on at a later point in the life, because I am going to arrive. I have sacrificed everything to build with you what we're going to build together, to build the comeback camp. But that's a different subject. So this thing, I understand and I believe not only are we truly deeply interconnected. I've felt it, I've seen it, and there was even a Nobel Prize in 2022 that this has actually scientifically been proven too. That there's something so much beyond what our current understanding of Newtonian physics really allows us to. There's something else out there. And, just within will, within manifestation, within vibrations, these deep beliefs. And so I understand that I will create my own reality wherever my mind is. And last winter was in an even darker place than I was admitting to myself. And I knew it wasn't a great place. Now, the positive thing was I had my habits. I kept getting up at 3:30 in the morning and working out. I continued to do everything I said I was going to do. I proved to myself all day, every day, that I was the man I said I was going to be and I wanted to be when I looked in the mirror. And that's what got me through it. And actually, the reason I stopped posting was something way more cool than than that battle. We'll talk about that more another time. But this thing right here, it's so much different. The cause and effect of how you change the person you see in the mirror that I understand so far is you commit to something uncomfortable that you believe in and you never miss. Work out. Get up early, work out. Eat right, always eat right. Don't drink, never drink. And that one took me 2 years to put down the bottle forever. So don't think you just flip a switch and do it. But if you can do it quicker, I'm there for you. So reshaping my internal dialogue, my vibration. I mean, I literally, the men that I admire most in my life, the people that I aspire to become like, have all shown a high admiration for me lately. And I still just haven't been able to internalize that it's like, I actually do belong at the table. I'm past the lonely phase. I do belong at the table with the people that I admire. But subconsciously, vibrationally, spiritually, I'm not there yet. I still don't deeply believe it. And I know that once I get through this barrier, there's so much abundance in front of me. There's so much possibility and capability. The amount of skills I've stacked, the amount of results I've produced for myself, the things that I can see and believe now. This isn't weeks or months or a year or two. This is closing in on 5 years of consistent progress in one direction only. And if I can just get my vibration right, if I can get my subconscious right, if I can get my beliefs right, there's just a beautiful world of abundance ahead. And the entire purpose of that abundance is, yes, for my own personal desires, self-reliance and freedom, true self-reliance. We'll talk more about what that means in my life. That is my North Star for myself. But I have been put on this planet for a purpose. And the depths of hell that I went to, and I kept digging myself down. And then I went off completely on my own, no classes, no organizations, no people, and I rebuilt all of this on my own. I've created an amazing thing with this life. And my purpose in this life is to build what I'm building for you, and that we will build this thing together. Because as I'm able to bring people up, that only further reinforces what I'm doing, but I will also be able to bring people around who have elevated to a level that I aspire to, an aspirational level. And the only barrier at this point, it's not money, it's not I'm making good money, but I'm not comfortable and free, right? There's no level of success. There's no result that will create this level of vibration that will be sustainable. Because if my business were to have succeeded before I had learned these lessons, before I had really just spent years doing the things that put me in a really bad place, and then creating the thing inside of me that I had to do to get back out of that. If I hadn't learned these lessons first, and I had gotten the money, and I had gotten the prestige and everything, it would have blown up in my face. I can't even tell you how, I don't know if I would have wrecked and died in a DUI. Alcohol would have gotten me for sure. If I lost the result that created that belief and that identity, it would all be gone, right? So this thing now that I'm working towards is, whether I've got everything, whether I've got nothing, whether I build it and lose it all, this vibration, this deep belief within myself is the thing that I'm now understanding that is the new level that I have to get under control, that I have to build, that I can create, embody, and help lead others to be able to do the same. I think if I had figured this out and actually really been winning at this thing that I'm battling now years ago, this entire process would have been a lot faster. But you know what? That's not my journey. This has been a long, slow, steady thing. Motion creates clarity, and there has not been clarity other than just this deep calling and my sense of creativity. That's one of my deepest things. Telling stories, using my camera. My other main channel, you'll see a lot more of that creativity come out over there, but that's a completely different thing. So this is something that I believe deeply, I know for a fact, I'm going to get under control. And I see the people that, man, when they have this thing in them that is now the battle that I'm fighting to understand and to develop, they're unstoppable. They can literally will away illness. They can create, I mean, their reality comes from their beliefs and their vibrations. And also, this is far more common. We can literally will ourselves to become ill. We can give ourselves cancer through cortisol, through anxiety, through worries, through, man, this, and I had some health issues last winter. That was part of it. That was part of the fear and anxiety, just thinking about the worst case scenario, battling with this thing that I understand that had become such a deep sense, just damaging sense of my self-view. You know, let's hope I remember to come back and edit these words, because the description I had of the old version of myself and what I kept saying in myself about that man that I was trying to kill off is he was a pussy little bitch. And the reality is, the old version was, and the reality is, the old version's dead. I have put that man down, but this is a battle that I have to stay vigilant in. You know, just like alcohol. I'm I think 60 days away, maybe 61 from 1,000 days without alcohol. I say it almost every day. I'll never drink again. That was a terrible part of my life. But let me tell you, all it would take is a little bit of weakness and a couple times drinking, and I could be right back where I was. That addiction is hidden in there. That will never go away. You know, the neural pathways are there, kind of like riding a bicycle. Yeah, maybe you don't ride a bicycle for 20 years. You're going to be a little shaky for a minute, but your body's going to learn it real quick. And that's just like the addiction. That's what I believe with alcohol. My body knows that addiction well, and it will come back to it quick. So, you know, today the message is just that every single one of us on this path of elevation, there's always something new. So much of this has been just small, incremental changes. Some of it is huge, uncomfortable steps. Getting into the gym, that was really uncomfortable. For second nature. I get up at 3:30 every day. I'm stoked to start my day every day. And part of the reality, part of my understanding of this challenge was that I took a year of my data in my Fitbit, fed it into ChatGPT, you know, gave it a lot of data and details, blood work, symptoms, etc. And, you know, I realized I got 6 hours of sleep twice in a year. I'm in my mid-40s, man. You can't be living like that. And, you know, I'm just so driven and determined, and I've been living in this state of fear and scarcity. And I've done so much right, and I'm not where I'm at. And what if it all goes wrong? And geopolitical events, and I don't have everything I need to make everything go the way I want to go. And the world as I know, it's coming to an end. All that might be true. But if I change this vibration and this belief, then there is no limit to the impact that I can have on this world, to the men's lives that I can help change, that I can help guide them and help them just get started in the direction. That's one of the hardest things, just getting started. And I am definitely the man that has been through that process. I know that I am that man who can lead people to begin that progress, to get themselves fit, to put down their vices, to create self-belief and begin moving in the right direction. It's my purpose. That's why I was put here. That's why all of these battles that I have fought for myself, it was all God's plan. Or the universe, or the creator, or whoever you believe in. I was supposed to go to the depths of hell, and it was to serve you. And your part in this only further reinforces my path and direction, so that I never fall back into those bad vices. I never go back to the version of myself that didn't eat right, didn't work out, thought about how much cool stuff he could create, but then didn't actually do anything, or didn't believe enough to continue moving forward. So the reason I've been not posting for the last couple months is I've been off shooting a series of short films for my other main channel, getting away from all this vlogging and value-based content and chasing trends. And you know what? I'm done with all that. I'm a creative. I've got a story to tell. I've got skills that most people on YouTube don't. I've been producing videos in college and professionally since 2003. I was doing it as a kid before that. Telling stories is something I love and I'm passionate about. And over here, the most value that I can provide to the world addresses one of the biggest challenges that we have right now, as men are feeling so lost, helpless, hopeless. 4 out of 5 suicides are men. We're leaning on vices, playing video games, watching pornography, giving up because the path that we've been shown and taught based on this 200-year-old education and industrial model of, here, this is the box you sit in, you fit into this 50 years, put the same rivet in the same hole, fill out the same TPS report, do this, you are this thing. Bro, that kills your soul. And now we are in this beautiful, amazing, there's never been a moment in history where there's more potential and opportunity, but it is so odd and uncomfortable based on the reality that we've been trained into. That is based on limitations. And I know for a fact that I am going to kill off those limiting beliefs. And that's something I'll someday be able to lead on to. So today I just wanted to bring you on part of some of my challenge, because I've arrived at a lot of these things, but I'm not everywhere I want to be. And I can tell you that the man who is really qualified to lead to the next level is not the man who has achieved the end result. He is the man who has the right belief and the right vibration. So I love you. I believe that you can do anything and everything that you truly want to, and that the uncomfortable parts of all of this are the best parts. Get at it.